What's up? Happy Friday, everybody. Coming in hot. It's hot today. 105 degrees or something. How you doing, everybody? Welcome to Grillo's After Shock XL. Very exciting day today. I have a very big guest for you, but I'll talk about some shit a little bit, get you a little warmed up, a little greased up before I bring in the heavy hitter. Craig Gass is waiting in the wings, and I just wanted to say appreciate everybody coming in and joining. Nice intro. Thank you very much. Appreciate everybody coming in. It's 8 o'clock on a Friday in New York. It's 5 o'clock here in the Shreddy Bowls here in Las Vegas, not New York. And I just want to give a shout out to everybody that's been on my YouTube channel and everything. People like Oscar Electric and Hack Ride and Jesus, who else helps me? American Cupcake. I'll be doing his show on Sunday. We're going to be watching Jason and the Argonauts. And there is some new super tips up. I'm going to try to stay away from the comments here. And G. Spardini, I'll give you a shout out. Crack that whip. I saw somebody did make a comment on X today, and they're like, "You get great guests, and you just don't know how to run your show." I know. For years, I've been doing the show, and I've had other people run my show, and this is a new experience for me, spinning all these plates and trying to be an entertaining host, which, of course, is always up for. Up for change or whatever you want to call it. But I want to ask everybody out there, if you don't subscribe to my X or Twitter account, I'm like 9 people away from 7,000. So if we can get up to 7,000 today, that would be great. And this person doesn't have that much long. This person is so talented, and he's always been so nice to me. And I think I know why, because if I'm not mistaken, I might be one of the first people that put him through on the Howard Stern show. And after that, his success is gigantic. And I'll just bring him on over here. What's up, Mr. Craig Gass, comedy man?
Hey, buddy. You are right.
Was I the first person that put you through on the show?
I believe that is correct, that you were the first person to put me through. And I can remember calling and trying to be different celebrities. And I remember one time where Gary picked up and he was like, and he just kind of let me talk. He was like, okay, who's this? And I go, hey, and he's like, all right. But the way I got through the Stern show was sending a tape. I sent a tape of stuff I was doing with a guy named Bob Rivers, Twisted Radio, up in Seattle. And Gary called me immediately. And the tape was a bunch of different impressions. And Gary called up and said, hey, I could tell you work at a radio station, but I just want to know, who are these people on the tape? And I said, it's me doing all the voices. And he said, well, Sam Kinison is like, we actually thought it was him. That's how fucking good it was, man. We fucking thought it was Sam. And I said, well, man, I'd love to work with you someday. And he said, well, we have this idea. And then it was a fucking horrifying idea. And I was like, whoa. Like it was Mancow had just, he said, so we got this idea. I don't know if you'd be interested. We just moved into the Chicago market. This is 1995. We just moved into the Chicago market, and there's this guy Mancow in Chicago who keeps messing with us, saying, he's going to destroy us and whatever. And we can't really go on the air and acknowledge every market where there's a guy saying they're going to beat us, because we're on in so many markets. But this guy Mancow has really stepped up his fight to where he's sending us pieces of a cow, one piece at a time. That our interns are opening up these packages and they're just finding cow parts. And then
That's so not true.
And then
I opened the mail for years. I was there for the Mancow shit. That is so untrue, but go ahead.
And then Mancow had a producer in a helicopter fly over the building where Howard does his show from, and he took a shit on the building.
What?
And so I'm listening
told
to
you
this,
that?
and I go, so do you want me to shit on someone? Like what? And they go, no. Here's what we want. We want you to call in because Mancow's dad just died. We want you to come on as Sam Kinison, calling live from the gates of hell with Mancow's dead dad. And I went, holy shit. And I said, hey, this is really weird, but I'm about to go to Atlanta, and I'm going to this radio convention called Boot Camp, and I'm going to meet this guy Mancow because he's speaking at this convention. And Gary said, oh, I thought boot camp was just like small markets. And I said, no, it's like it's all these major markets. I was working in Seattle at the time, and I said, so yeah, and Mancow's going to speak on Friday. And Baba Booey said, he go, oh, where's he speaking? And I go, you want me to look it up? And he goes, yeah, sure. And I read all the information over the phone. I have no idea what I'm doing. I go, Mancow is speaking on the Friday morning of the convention. Looks like the name of the ballroom is blah, blah, blah. It's in this hotel, and it's going to happen at this time, 8, 9 o'clock in the morning, whatever. And he goes, oh, okay, cool. And he said, well, just call us and just let us know when you want to come on. You know, we'll give you like a little bit of time if you want to think about it. A week later, I'm in Atlanta, and the night before Mancow was going to speak, I was up all night partying, and I got really hammered, and I just slept in, and I missed the Mancow thing. I woke up, my alarm had been going off for an hour, and I was like, man, and I missed it. I come downstairs, it's bedlam. There's cops, there's EMTs, there's fire trucks outside, and it's like, dude, did you see what happened? And I said, no. They sent Stuttering John from the Howard Stern Show to come in undercover and crash Mancow's event live on the Howard Stern Show. And Mancow ends taking the phone because Stuttering John said, I have a question. Is it true that everything you did was stolen from Howard Stern? And the whole place starts booing. And Stuttering John says, I have Howard Stern on the air right now, live in New York. He wants to talk to you and have you tell him that everything you've done was stolen from him. Mancow grabs the phone, smashes it against the wall, breaks into 1,000 pieces. The whole place cheers. Ah! It was Doug Goodstein's phone.
And I love Doug Goodstein.
Doug gets up on stage. You know, Doug is such a mellow, easygoing guy. Doug is now and now it becomes like a fist fight, and a brawl breaks out. And whoever ran that boot camp, they sold a copy of this to like Inside Edition and hard copy So my first time on the Howard Stern Show was preceded by total anarchy, and I just thought, man, I'm in way over my head. I finally went on the air with them like a week or two later, and I did a softer version of what they wanted, which was Sam Kinison calling in live from the gates of hell saying, hey guys, I'm down here, and Mancow's dad is down here with me. And everyone found out that there's a Mancow here. They thought it was a half man, half cow. They're trying to eat him up. Like it was some sillier, softer version of what they originally wanted to do. And that was my first start on the Howard Stern Show.
I remember your Sam Kinison was so dead on. I never got a chance to meet Sam, but I did kind of speak to him the day before he died. I was working the phones at K-Rock, and Malika and Sam called up looking for Gary, but they were still on vacation, and they told me, like, Malika was like, well, we just got married, and I could hear Sam in the background, like, giggling, and they were like, they were so in love, and they were like having like a little lovers conversation kind of, and Malika told me that they wanted to announce it first thing Monday morning on Howard that they got married, and she said, I'm not sure if we're going to be in Las Vegas or if we're going to be in Los Angeles. So take both our numbers. Take both the numbers because they wanted to announce it. Wow. And the next day I was working at a pizzeria, and I got there and somebody said, oh my God, did you hear the news? I go, what? They're like, Sam Kinison died. I went, no fucking way. I just spoke to him and his wife yesterday. They just got married. And she goes, no, he got hit by a drunk driver on the way to Los Angeles. And I went,
it was on the way to Laughlin, Nevada. They were on the way to do a show in Laughlin, Nevada. Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't know which way. I thought they were in Nevada and they were going back to Los Angeles. I'm not sure, but I know that I spoke to them the day before, and it was so eerie because I had a bizarre premonition because it was the best of, and I was helping Maria Melito out doing best of, and I remember the last clip that they played for best of was Howard becoming friends again with Sam, and I was like, I wonder how Howard would handle if someone that important to him like Sam died. How would I handle it on the air? And then they called up and then he died. So I kind of had a premonition about Sam's death. It was really weird.
Wow. I get moments like that sometimes where I feel something, and then this is gonna be really weird, but this just happened to me a couple days ago. I'm flying. My flight to Vegas coming back
Yeah.
from New
Okay.
York was New York, LA, and then LA, Vegas. And I get off the plane in LA, and for some reason I thought about Chelsea Handler's moment on the roast of Kevin Hart. And I thought, if I ever run into Chelsea Handler, I'm going to tell her, thank you for helping a buddy of mine named Josh Wolf that she put on her TV show on E back in the day. And 20 minutes later, I'm in a lounge, and I go, Chelsea? And she looked really standoffish. I was like, hey, I'm Craig. I'm a comedian. I'm friends with Josh Wolf, and I just wanted to say that, it was really cool that you helped out his career. And she was like, oh, yeah, I love Josh. And then that was it. But yeah, sometimes I get moments like that, too, where I feel something, so I definitely relate to that. And as far as doing the impression of Sam, I've always had that knack for doing voices, and voices will get stuck in my head. Like, I don't know if you've been watching.
I have voices stuck in my head too, but it's not because of its talent.
I don't know if you've been watching Love on the Spectrum, but like every one of those kids on Love on the Spectrum is in my head. And for the last like 2 weeks, I've just been talking to everybody like, yes, that would be fun per se. Interesting. Yes, per se.
I've heard a lot of talk about that show, and I gotta like look that up because it's sort of like the big topic everywhere. So we do have
Craig,
a
what
thing here.
was the
Oh, wait,
one
hold on a
moment on
second.
the Stern Show when you realized your life, but I completely changed? Are there any Stern Show secrets you can share that you promised you were going to take to your grave?
That's a super tip. So people come in with that. That's the new super tip. I got Bob Levy's voice. I got Fred the Elephant Boy's voice, and I got Tracy's voice on there. So if you want to super tip me with Tracy's voice, Bob Levy's voice, or Fred the Elephant Boy's voice, that was super tip from Oscar Electric. Thank you very much. Which goes to show that it is working. Thank you very much, Oscar. But go ahead. I'm sorry to interrupt you.
So the first question was, is there a moment where I knew that my life had changed? Yeah. So it was supposed to be a 2-day audition. They said, hey, oh my God, you know what? I remember, holy fuck, I remember waking up on a March morning in 2001 to 3 voicemails. The first one was like, dude, Howard Stern said that Jackie Martling just quit the show and they're looking for new comedians. Boop. Hey, dude, you better turn on Howard Stern right now. He said he's looking for brand new comedians to replace Jackie Martling. Boop. Hey, Craig, it's Gary Delabate. Call me as soon as you get this. Boop. And I was like, holy shit. And I go,
Oh, wow.
hello?
That's pretty cool, man.
And I go, hey, Gary. And Gary said, hey, Craig, how you been? And Gary had never asked me how I'd been. And I was like, I'm doing great. How are you? And he goes, I'm doing good. And I go, I heard that Jackie Martling is off the show now. And he goes, that is correct. And I said, is that what this call is about? And he goes, yes, it is. And I was like, and I go, what do you? And then I gave the worst negotiation in the history of the Howard Stern show when Gary said, okay, so we're going to have you come in for 2 days. All right, cool, I'll do it. And he said, we just want to see if there's any chemistry between you and Howard. And they wanted me in the next day. And I said, fuck that. I am not coming in. I need at least a couple weeks. And we finally compromised on like a week. I think it was like a week after Jackie left that they were going to have me on. Because I just kept thinking like, dude, mom is dead. You're going to announce to the world, hey, mom's gone. Here's my new girlfriend. It's like, fuck the new
Okay.
girlfriend. I was like, I don't want to be that guy. And so we agreed to come in a week later. And he said, how much do you want to get paid? And I said, Gary, tell me how much you're paying me. I'm going to say yes to whatever you say. And he goes, but I need like a figure. And I said, tell me how much you're going to pay me. I'm going to agree to whatever you said. He goes, but I need like a number. And at the time, I was working, George Carlin was a big mentor to me. And
Wow.
and George was letting me use his manager, Jerry Hamza, to, the intention was Jerry's going to manage your career. You can have Jerry manage your career. I didn't have a career. So there was nothing to manage. The only thing that Jerry had helped me with was a negotiation with the Stern Show to have me do celebrity phone calls. And I think at the time I was getting like $250 a phone call. And then so Gary goes, I go, just I said, every time I come on the show, you pay me 250, so pay me at least that. And then Gary said, how about 350? And I go, done.
Oh,
Just go. And then come to find out, after me, and they had me audition over and over and over again for like a full year, that whole year of 2001. I was coming in 2 days a week every week. It went from 2 days to 2 days a week every week from March until October. And everybody else they brought in, they're like, okay, here's what the pay is. And it was the pay that I had negotiated. And they're like, well, I mean, people seem to be happy to do it. So all the comedians that came in, and Jeff Ross and Stanhope and Artie and everybody, it's like everybody came in with the same. I had kind of lowered the bar so much because
wow.
Comedians are so happy to be on this show, which was true. But the other question was anything that I regretted or a secret. I fell asleep on the show, and that was because I was on coke for a few days.
Oh my God.
Out of Philadelphia. I was in Philadelphia for a weekend doing shows, and I didn't sleep at all the whole weekend. I just did coke the whole weekend, and then all the way through Sunday night, and then I just walked in on Monday morning a total zombie, and I hung in for like the first hour, and then Howard's breaks at the time would be like up to 15 minutes. Like these commercial breaks were really, really long, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna lay my head down, just close my eyes, because I'm fucking exhausted. I close my eyes, and I start to pass out, and I hear giggling and laughing, and I hear Stuttering John go, he smells like piss. And I was like, what? And I open my eyes, and Howard's looking at me, and he goes, what are you doing, man? And I go, I was just sleeping. And he goes, dude, we're on the air. And I go, oh man, I'm sorry. And he goes, dude, what are you doing, man? And I was like, and he got really mad. Stern fans would point out to me, ever since that moment where you fell asleep on the air, Howard stopped liking you as much. And I was like, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. It changed the dynamic. I didn't feel this, this support that I had felt before. It changed. It was still there, but it just changed. And then at that point, Artie started coming in 2 days a week, and I was doing 2 days a week, and then they just started rotating the Wednesdays. It was just the Howard Stern Show for a while was me every Monday and Tuesday, Artie every Thursday and Friday, and then they would rotate somebody out on the Wednesdays, or maybe it was the Fridays. But I know that Artie and I were each taking 2 days a week, and then they finally
It's funny they made Artie a bed, and he's getting mad at you. Come on.
Well, later when Artie started falling asleep from heroin, then they made it into a really funny bit where they're interviewing, I don't know if it was Belinda Carlisle. There was somebody they were interviewing where they just put a microphone up to Artie's nose. So during the interview, you could hear, like, which is a hilarious concept. So, but, the PS to all of this is 20 years later, I'm working with Howard again for the first time in 20 years. And we're doing new ideas, and we've created some new celebrity impressions, and he has me on semi-regularly to do the same stuff I used to do, and we've added more stuff.
So this is recent because I stopped listening when I left, not because I was angry or anything. I wasn't in a car. You listen in a car, you wake up and you listen. I sort of was living an opposite lifestyle of when the show was on, and and now it's sort of just turned into something else. I guess it's liberal, and he's not who he used to be, kind of thing. Are you been doing stuff recently with the show?
Yeah, for like the last it's been like 2-3 years now. I've been doing stuff with the show,
Okay.
and I always hear the accusations that he's liberal, but I mean, he's always been the same guy. I mean, he's always been a germaphobe. You know that.
Yeah, well, yeah. But
I mean,
that's why I got stuck with all those jobs, because he didn't trust John to, handle his shit.
Yeah, I would hear people
And
go like, "Man, he's such a germaphobe now." But I remember if Gary or Casey or somebody came in and they just cleared their throat like, "Ugh,"
you're sick.
he go, "The fuck is that? Are you sick,
Yep.
dude? You're coming in the studio and you're sick, dude? You're gonna get me sick. You get me sick, and then the show's not happening. Get the hell
Yeah.
out of here. What are you
That's
doing?"
right. That's how Gunga Din started, because he got sick and his throat was killing him, and he needed hot water every like half an hour. And I had, on top of all the other tasks I had going on outside the studio, I had to go down. He wouldn't get the water from the microwave. He didn't. You think at K Rock, well, they were making all that money, they would have got him, a big like Poland Spring jug with the hot water handle on it. No. And he didn't want it from anywhere else but the deli downstairs, so I had to stop everything. What I was doing, run downstairs, go to this busy deli, get 2 hot waters with lemon, and bring it up. And if it wasn't ready in time and stuff, so like I get the whole germaphobe thing. He was always like that.
Wow. And then he was always, he was always big on science. He was always big on supporting Republicans and Democrats. He had, I think, like most people, he had views that coincide with both philosophies. And but when he started to criticize Trump, people just, if you're even moderately conservative, you hate Howard because
Yeah.
you
Well,
know,
I don't understand. Like they were such good friends. Do you know where it took a turn? And we
Oh,
got
with
some.
Trump?
We got some super tips up here too at some point. But no, it took a turn. I remember him loving Trump, and they were like really close friends. Like it was like, I think it was like one of his friends that he would actually call up off the air that was like a celebrity. And did you know where it took a turn?
I feel like all New Yorkers felt the same about Trump. It was like he was an entertaining guy who had a history of not being above board in his finances, or was dishonest about how much he was worth. I think that was always the thing with him in New York, and that never changed. I've always said, like, it's surprising to me that people are just now starting to find out what New Yorkers have known about Donald Trump for decades, like that he's a dishonest person. But a lot of people who support Trump genuinely are okay with him lying. They're totally okay with him being dishonest. They don't. I have friends who are huge Trump supporters who are like, I don't care about the lies as long as it's Donald Trump lying.
Yeah, okay. Well, listen, what politician doesn't lie? Bill Clinton went and said that he didn't fucking screw Jennifer Flowers and he didn't do anything with, what's her name, the intern. He
Yep.
did. They all lie. We get it. Let's take a
Right.
super tip question. Hold on. I'm like awful with technology, and now they're not coming up.
Let's hear it, man. I want some questions. I'm ready.
Oh, well, yeah, no, that's there is a problem with super tips once again. I'll read it from here.
Okay.
This is from Dwarfy Dork. Craig, you have one of the best Kinison impressions ever. Do you think Bill should have helped out with Sam's child once DNA proved Sam, not LeBeau, was dad?
That was the craziest story. I have pictures of this girl because I spent time with Carl before he died.
Okay.
Here in Vegas when Carl was
Explain
sick.
who Carl is, by the way. It's just
Carl
some
LeBeau
people
was
don't.
Carl LeBeau was Sam Kinison's best friend, and they met at the very first open mic that they ever did. They both showed up same time, and I think Carl said they were the only two guys wearing suits at an open mic in Houston, Texas, and so they both became friendly, and then they had similar backgrounds, growing up with in the church. Religion was a big part of their backgrounds, and they, as the story goes, they made a pact that if one of them made it, they would take the other one with them. And Sam stuck to his word and took Carl as his career started to explode. All of his shows, as he started selling out everywhere and then going to theaters and then going to arenas, Carl LeBeau was the main opening act of a group of guys now that were called the Outlaws of Comedy. And Sam brought Carl along for the whole ride and had him open up all the shows. And there were a lot of comedians, people who became comedians later, who would tell you that there were nights where Carl blew Sam off the stage. Carl was truly one of the most gifted, funniest comedians you've ever seen. And even in that documentary about the Comedy Store that they put out a few years ago, there's a moment where there's some, I can't remember who the comedians were that were talking about Carl and Sam, saying it's too bad that Carl lived in Sam's shadow, because it seemed like Sam's darkness enveloped Carl. But this crazy thing happens where Carl falls in love with a woman. They have a very toxic relationship, and it's during all the chaos of all the fame and money and drugs and the chaos that was coming along with it. And they have a kid, and then the relationship is just over. The marriage is over. They're going through a divorce. And then Sam passes away at this point, and she's putting the screws to him. And he finally calls her up and says, hey, I know you hate me, okay? I understand. As a human being to another human being, I'm just asking you, what they're asking for, what your lawyers are asking for financially, is based on an income that I had when I was touring with Sam, performing in arenas. I can't even get into a nightclub right now. And financially, you're trying to just completely devastate me, and I just need your help. She starts crying, and she says, I'm sorry. And he said, why are you sorry? And according to Carl, she said, she's not yours.
Oh man, Jesus.
And he said, what do you mean she's not mine? And she said, she's not your child. She's Sam's child. And he
Wow.
finds out after his best friend dies,
That he is tapping his girl.
not only was his best friend tapping his girl, the girl that he was raising as his own was actually Sam's child. And what's fucked up about it is Carl told me before he passed that there were moments at the Comedy Store, because I heard about this. When I first started going to Hollywood and performing at the Comedy Store, I would hear rumors about it at the Comedy Store, like, dude, you ever seen this kid? No. Dude, that kid does not look like Carl. What? Dude, that kid looks like Sam. And apparently, I mentioned that to Carl, and Carl goes, you know, Sam used to make jokes about it. Sam, in front of everybody, would be like, man, have you seen that kid? Doesn't that kid look like me? That kid looks like me! Oh! And then he'd pull Carl aside, look him right in the face, and go, hey, man, you know I love you, right? You know I'm just fucking with you, right? Dude, you know, I would never do that to you. Just
Oh my God.
I just want to make sure you. And he would look him right in the face, knowing what he did, and would fuck with his head like that and go, hey, man, you know I'm just fucking around. I would never do that to you. You're my friend, dude. I would never do that. And he finds out later. So, Carl does everything he can to fight this and fight the laws. And then this crazy thing happens years and years and years later, where Carl LeBeau, who's now moved on with his life, he's doing a show, I believe it was at Governor's. It was somewhere in New York. And he's getting ready to go up, and they go, ladies and gentlemen, you guys ready for your headliner? Yeah, all right, you guys ready? Come on. I said, are you ready? He gets a tap on the shoulder. He turns around, and he goes, hi. And she goes, Carl? And he goes, yeah. And she says, it's me, your daughter. And he goes, please welcome Carl LeBeau. And he's like, can you stay?
Oh, fuck.
Can you just hang out? He goes up on the stage, and he does his set, comes off. She's now 18 at the time, and he spends time with her all weekend. At the end of the weekend, she says to him, you know, you're nothing like what my mom says you are.
Ah, Jesus.
And she won't tell me anything about my dad, Sam. Can you just tell me what he was like? And Carl has to swallow his pride, swallow all that pain, And Carl has to tell this girl what she deserves to know about the good sides of her dad. And he tells her all of that and says, well, let me tell you the good things about your dad. And she's, and then he said, if you want some help, I'll help you with this because you deserve to have money. And that's where Bill Kinnison, as I understand it, they needed 2 DNA tests to prove that she was Sam's child. And one of the Kinnisons said, absolutely, there's no doubt in my mind that you are Sam's daughter. And then he did the test, but Bill refused to do the test.
Huh.
Refused to
I heard they started dating right after that.
They started dating. Bill refused to do the test because once you prove that is the daughter, then there's some financial implications there, and it's crazy. Carl LeBeau, Sam Kinison, obviously a legendary comedian who was groundbreaking. There will never be another Sam. Carl LeBeau was. So many comedians who saw Carl would tell you, dude, that guy, easily top 5 comedians I've ever seen in my life. He was powerful. He was even his silence on stage was powerful. And because of what happened with realizing, oh my God, and everyone's been talking about this, they all know that it's actually Sam's kid. He was so embarrassed that he was ashamed to be doing anything in public because he thought that everyone was kind of laughing at him.
Yeah.
He spent years also trying to avoid because his ex-wife still clamped down on him despite the fact that she admitted it wasn't his kid. And the way California state laws work is that when a child is born, the names on that birth certificate of the mother and father are the 2 people responsible for that child until they're 18 years old, regardless of what happens afterwards. Even if the dad is a white guy, the kid comes out and the kid's black, and oh, well, that's not the dad. Doesn't matter. Your name's on the birth certificate. It's no matter what happens, you are responsible for that child for the rest of their life.
And that makes complete sense.
Yeah. And so Carl was with there was a group, I don't know if they passed the law, but there was a group of men who were similarly affected in situations where they were getting killed for child support payments for children that they knew were not their children. And Carl joined that group to try to fight for those rights. And then eventually came on Howard to actually talk about the story, and Howard had him tell publicly for the first time about how that happened. But yeah, man, when Carl gave me pictures, and the pictures are insane. I mean, and by the way, my understanding is the girl's mom comes from a very well-to-do family, and the girl's mom basically intimidated the daughter by saying, if you're going to keep pursuing this thing, you're not going to get this family money. And so the kid was like, all right. And that's my understanding of it. That's,
Wow.
That's how it was explained to me. I do want to get through these questions, but I'm also tight on time. So
No, I know. So hold on. There's one here. First of all, if anybody's listening that knows Super Tips, it says error, no overlay connect with text tips capability. That's what keeps coming up. I know that Super Tips has been having issues. I'm not the only show that has this issue with Super Tips. So this one is from Nefarious Ball Washer. Craig, Steve recently backstabbed Stuttering John to become pals with Shuli. Do you have any negative interactions with either Shuli or John? Which I did not stab John in the back. John is just an awful human being who does this for a living. But do you have any, this is from the Nefarious Ball Wash, do you have any interactions with either Shuli or John?
Shuli and I have always gotten along famously, and then John I've always gotten along with famously, but John has also made fun of me to people in a playful way, but he's also, like a lot of people, he does smack talking, and I don't take it personally, but I've enjoyed. God, what was the one thing that there was one time when Stuttering John signed that deal and he got that huge Leno deal. I went to his house, which was in a gated community, in like Calabasas or something, and there was some funny story about uh, Case. Was it Casey was newly sober, and it was Super Bowl Sunday, and I was like, "Hey, is it okay if Casey comes over?" And then John, it might have been somebody else, but it was somebody who was newly sober, and I said, "Hey, they want to come over," and John got upset, and he was like, "I want to drink in peace. I don't want somebody to make me feel bad for having to drink." Like he was like, it was so-
That's John. We got another
Oh,
one from. Oh, wow, go
wait,
ahead.
I got a great story.
Okay.
September 11th. I'm supposed to perform on September 14th at Madison Square Garden at the theater at Madison Square Garden. It was me, Robert Schimmel, Joe Rogan. They had a thing called the Garden. They set up like a comedy club setup in the lobby of the theater at Madison Square Garden. I think it was going to be like 300 seats or something like that. And we're going to turn that room over 4 times in the weekend, September 14th and 15th, 2001. At the same time, Stuttering John is like, "Hey, I'm doing a show in Atlantic City. They want you to be a part of the show in Atlantic City." And I go, I'm already committed. I'm doing the theater at Madison Square Garden. Then September 11th hits, and we all get contacted like, "Hey, the show's not going to happen. We're canceling, but we're sending a commemorative New York Rangers jersey to everybody that was supposed to perform." I actually I have this amazing Rangers jersey with my name on it, as an apology, like, "Hey, here's a gift from us." And it was like, understood. And then Stuttering John goes, "Dude, I heard are you available? Because we're still doing the show in Atlantic City, but now it's turned into a benefit." And I said, "Okay, yeah, I can do it. It's now going to be a benefit for all the first responders that responded on 9/11. So I go down to Atlantic City to do the show, and after the show, they handed me cash, like a decent amount of cash. And I was like, "Oh, what is this for?" And they go, "For your performance." And I said, Man, I don't want money." Like, and there were these two big water, like the kind of water cooler jugs you have like at an office, like, that people normally put coins in.
Yeah.
And they're filled with 20s, 50s, and 100s. Like, people just gave and gave for these unbelievable heroes that helped in that incredible moment. And I took my money and I go, "I'll put it." And Stuttering John goes, "Don't fucking do that." He goes, "That's your money. Don't give that shit away." And I go, "John, it's these people help." And he goes, "That's your money." Like, that was one of the funniest things I've ever experienced. And I'm sorry, I know I'm going a little long with my answers.
No, dude, these are great stories, bro.
Yeah. But anyways, what's the
Okay,
next
so
one?
real quick, to say, Craig, Steve, I got that one already. Craig, this is from the Nefarious Shit Stirrer. Craig, Malika Kinnison said you had the best Sam Kinison impression and that you were cute. As a show of respect, would you bang Malika while impersonating Sam? I'm friends with Bill, and I'm friends with Paul Borghese, who was married to Malika after that. They're not married anymore, but I think Paul and Malika are actually friends. And then here's the other one.
Wait. Who was the person who asked if I would bang Malika?
Nefarious Shit Stirrer. And then
What's
Craig,
weird is Nefarious Shit Story has always had a great reputation for not putting people on the spot. And
there's another one that's going to put you on the spot. This is Sammy the Shit Stirrer. Craig, big fan. Yucko the Clown said you're a piece of garbage. You banged his ex-wife behind his back. Do you have any regrets destroying his life?
I never banged her, but she flirted with me and sent me nude pictures before they even met. And Yucko and I are way better than good. We've been great.
Okay, it's cool. Dude, I love Yucko, and I hope he's well. I haven't seen or heard from him in a long time.
He's been doing great. He's sold a lot of TV shows. He actually even hired me to work on Brickleberry for Comedy Central.
Yeah, Brickleberry was great. I don't know what happened. He actually gave me a tour of the studio when I was out in Las Vegas. It was
Nice.
really cool.
Nice.
I haven't seen or heard from him in a long time. Why don't you tell everybody what you're doing out here in Vegas? Before you get out of here, I know you got to go.
I have a residency this weekend and continuing on through October, January, and March of 2027. Every couple of months, I do a full weekend of shows at Jimmy Kimmel's Comedy Club, which is at the Link Promenade. It's directly across from where the Brooklyn Bowl is, that concert venue, the Brooklyn Bowl. I do 4 shows in a weekend, and I have 2 shows tonight, 2 shows tomorrow. and then more in October when Metallica comes to town. I'm the first comedian to ever open for Metallica, so I wanted to.
So amazing.
I
Yeah,
wanted.
I'm coming to the show tomorrow. If anybody's in Vegas and wants to come, you should come. I'll be there.
Oh, and I'm doing the show with my buddy Chris Kale. I have a show, a podcast I do called Beardo and Weirdo with my buddy Chris Kale from the rock and roll band Five Finger Death Punch. And Chris Kale has been doing stand-up comedy for about 4 or 5 years. Chris Kale is performing with me this weekend, just for this weekend shows, for the 4 shows this weekend. And our show Beardo and Weirdo, holy shit, we've only been doing it for 16 months. Our Instagram Reels alone, we have over 16 million views on our Instagram Reels alone for Beardo and Weirdo. And
That's
it's like
awesome.
everyone I hit up, all my musician friends are all like instantaneous, like, yeah, I'll do it. And we've had friends of ours from Korn and Disturbed and System of a Down, and then comedians Carrot Tops joined us, and we have some great people coming up soon. I'm not supposed to say, but it's a really fun show. We're also both in recovery, so we get into like some serious mental health stuff as well. But Beardo and Weirdo.
So you're sober now? Is that what's going on?
I've been sober for over 21 years. I had a heart attack.
Congratulations. Oh, you
I had
did?
a
Oh,
heart-
wow.
Yeah.
So I guess we're not partying this weekend.
Yeah, we're not partying this weekend. I mean, I'll chop the coke up for you, but
Oh,
I just
yeah.
I just can't snort it.
I've been good with the cocaine these days.
All right.
I'm good. I had enough. There's a point where you just go, I'm done.
Yeah, the heart attack is what made me do that. But I just want to make sure I'm not leaving any questions on the floor. Is there any other?
No, I appreciate that. No, this is all the super tips. This whole super tip, I think the program has been having some really glitchy issues with everything because they were playing. I played the first one, and then all of a sudden it stopped playing, and I did nothing to do it. But I know that Bob Levy has been having problems, and Bob Levy is coming on the show next weekend. Next week at some point. So I real quick. So you know what he's doing? He's clipping every single one of my shows and making a fortune off of me. Just so you know.
Good for him.
That's what I say. No, he takes one show of mine and just plays the whole fucking thing, and gets an incredible amount of super tips while he goofs on every word that I say.
Oh, I love it. I love Bob.
Yeah. I like him too, but I don't like what he's doing. But I got to deal with it. So there, I had to just bring myself to the point where I go, Steve, there's nothing you can fucking do. Just deal with it, and I do. I like him, so I'm happy the fact that at least somebody's making money around here.
Oh man. Well, it was great to see you, dude. I'm looking forward to seeing you at the club.
I can't wait to see you tomorrow, buddy. I will be there. What show? What time? What's the show I'm going to? The last one? The second one?
It's the Jimmy. Oh, the podcast. You mean?
No, I'm on the list for which show?
I believe you're on the list for the 7:30 show tomorrow night, the Saturday night show, and it's Jimmy Kimmel's. There's 2 shows a night, 7:30 and 9:30 each night, and it's a great club. I mean, they treat comics really well there. The crowds are always great, and it's a great location, man. I mean, it's just fish in a barrel, man. It's just like thousands of people are just walking by. And it's just like
that's so cool. I went to Brad Garrett's last night, Brad's Garrett Comedy Club, with a couple of friends, and that was pretty nice too. It was a tiny little room, but it's in the MGM, and
I've done that show before too. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but I'm looking forward to tomorrow night, buddy.
Yeah, me too, man. Thanks for having me, man. It was great to see you, dude, and I'm looking forward to catching up tomorrow night, catching up on some old times, man. And I'll see you soon.
100%. You got it, man. Thanks.
All right, have a good one.
Bye. So there you have it. That was some really great stories. I got to say thank you to Craig. That was above and beyond what I thought was going to happen. Not many times where I just shut up and listen because I have a problem. But there we go. Okay, so just thanks for everybody tuning in. I hope that was good. I didn't know that Sam Kinison had a daughter with Carla Bow's wife. That's maybe other people might know about that. I didn't know about it. So it was an interesting story. Craig is such a great guy. His impressions and his career are outstanding. He's one of the nicest people I've met when I worked on the Howard Stern show. Never, ever, ever was mean to me or did anything bad. He was very cool, and I appreciate him coming on. How's everybody doing? All right. It's well known. I did not know it, but thank you, Ryan, for always making sure that you correct everything. I don't have anything going on tonight. I think David Tell is playing somewhere out here. I might go say what's up to David Tell. He was a staple in Hell's Kitchen for a very long time. He used to, very generous guy too. David Tell would come into the bar and buy everybody at the bar a shot. Like, and I guess that's when he was drinking. I don't think that he's drinking anymore either. But I didn't know about Craig's heart attack and everything. So, but I am going to enjoy the weekend. It is almost 6:00 here in Vegas and almost 9:00 over by you. I had such a hard time I still have a hard time with this time zone bullshit. It's so funny because I'll get home and I want to call somebody and I'm like, it's 6:00. Oh, I could give them a call, but you can't because it's 9:00, and you don't call anybody after 9:00. At least that's the way I was brought up, or at least I try to. You always have that one friend that you can call, but I try to limit my phone calls before 9:00 at night, simply because in my house growing up, my mother did not want the phone to ring at 9:01. And if you did call my house, she would pick up the phone and say, who the fuck is this? Someone better be dead or in jail. And then most of my friends would hang up. So I grew up in a household that you were not allowed to receive a phone call after 9:00. So I have a hard time with this time zone shit. Because when I was in New York last week, I'm like, it's 6:00. Oh, I can't. Wait, no, I can call that person because it's only 6:00. And I do enjoy the time zone difference in some ways because I feel like I'm getting a lot more done. I don't know. It's weird. But I'm going back to New York, and I'll be doing the show from at the trailer for maybe July and August. And there's a lot of fun things going on. I was like, okay, would you like my address? I Farmer? Where do I live in Vegas? I live in Spring Valley. It's very nice. Everything is right there. I'll take some questions since the super tip's down and everything like that. Laundry room, you cannot call someone after 9 p.m. It might be an East Coast thing. He's not lying. Yeah, no, it's definitely, in my household, you did not call after 9:00 unless someone was dead or in jail. And it was never fun being on the dating scene when I had to tell girls, like, no, you can't come and call me at 9:00. So this guy at the Grillo Experiment. Time zone chat is riveting content. I'm just talking and trying to get some questions in here from you guys, and thought maybe I'd be nice and take some questions since there's time left. Who cares? Okay, so and you're listening because why? Anyway, thank you to everybody who tuned in today. I appreciate it. Laundry room 2, which is why the phone rang after 9. Everyone lost their shit. Yep. If you grew up in a household like me, there was rules. Lots and lots of rules. And one of the rules was don't call after 9. Anyway, it's 10 to 9 wherever you are, and I'm not going to call anybody. So they don't get the culture. You're right. Your mother was a psycho. She befriended almost dead people because she loved post 9 p.m. death notices. God, what the hell is that about, dude? Yeah, there was no do not disturb. You're right, Ryan, for once. Yeah, you couldn't turn your phone off. Oh, the only way you could turn your phone off was to take it off the hook. And I wasn't allowed to use the phone. I didn't have a phone in my room until I was 17. Everybody had phones in their room. I wasn't allowed to have a phone. If I had to go on the phone, I had to go downstairs. There was one phone in my parents' room and one phone downstairs in the kitchen, and that was it. Yes, she is. My mother is a marvelous woman, Ryan. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. You're boring. Then fuck off, bro. What can I tell you? I don't mean to be rude to people listening, but you're listening and you're telling me I'm boring. There's a million other things to do. You got a phone, use it. It was called the Teen Line. No, I thank God that there's a private chat. Grillo, where are your headphones? Oh, okay. It's very good at looking out to people. I forget that I have to wear headphones sometimes. I was doing it without headphones forever, but I guess the sound is better. The Teen Lines, yeah, there was. They didn't show up on the phone bill. I remember when we started getting itemized phone bills, And my mother, like, it wasn't like she was just, she was very money oriented. Like, it was like you had to, there was a budget. That my dad got paid X amount, and there was X amount to spend for food and this and that. And, phone was a bill. And they started getting itemized phone bills probably around the time I was like 15 or 16. And I got my fucking ass beat when my mom saw that there was a long distance phone call to Long Island, and the phone call cost $1.75. And I got home and she had the goddamn phone bill in her hand. And I was like, here's the thing. The point was that you don't make long distance phone calls. That's it. If it wasn't in the 212 or 718 area code, you weren't. I was in trouble. So I had to find other ways to get phone calls. It was bad. And I remember, like, you weren't allowed to use the phone. It wasn't like you could just call people up. You had to ask Mom, can I make a phone call? And that was it. Laundry room too. My stepdad took the phone out of my room, but didn't know about AIM. You should have been a great episode. Yeah, this would be a great episode of your TV show. No kidding. Everything would be revolved around my helicopter, Mom. All right, I'm going to start my weekend, everybody. I hope you have a great weekend. Who knows what happens tomorrow? I never know if I'll have another guest. Maybe I'll have David Tell on. Who knows? We'll see what happens. But I hope everybody has a safe weekend. Bless you and your family. And I'm going to be out of here. Peace out, baby.